Sounding the alarm on bias against conservatives, Michelle Bachmann is here sounding off about the IRS attack on the Tea Party groups. The agency is about to start enforcing the health care law for all of us. But if they can't be trusted with our green, can they be trusted with our health? Plus. Shut your computer and turn off your phone. Uncle Sam is peeping on you. The government invading phone records, even asking for Facebook accounts. Is anyone's privacy safe? All that and the government scandal no one's talking about except us, and why it could cost you dearly at the pump. Cashing in, giving you a front row seat to Washington Scandal-palooza starts right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Eric Bowling. Welcome to Cashing In. Our Cashing In crew will be here in a moment. But first, was the Tea Party just the beginning? An IRS official once in charge of the unit targeting conservative groups, now in charge of the division to set and enforce health care laws. To Republican Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, who's fighting back. Congresswoman, the IRS admitted to targeting conservative groups as far as deciding whether or not they were going to get nonprofit status. That same group, the IRS, is now charged with implementing and finding and regulating Obamacare. Do we trust them? Should we trust them to do it in a fair and balanced, proper way?
Well, already the IRS was the most feared federal agency there is, and now they've only made their lives worse because they understand that the American people are catching on. They have to enforce Obamacare for all Americans. No one will escape this bony, death-like grip of the IRS. People should rightly be worried. I'm the author of the bill to repeal Obamacare. That's a very important bill. It got through the House of Representatives. I'm also the chair of the Tea Party caucus. It wasn't just the Tea Party that was targeted by the Obama administration through the IRS. It was also Christians, people who support Israel, people who are pro-growth, pro-jobs, anti-debt, people who are conservatives, people who are Tea Partiers. This was an instance where we saw political opponents of this administration who were punished for their political or religious beliefs, whereas the allies of this administration were given rewards. They were fast-tracked for their tax status. So, of course, we should be worried because now a new national database is about to be created that will hold our most sensitive, personal, intimate information, our health care, and now the IRS will be the enforcer of health care, so now it's reasonable to ask.
Sure, and if I'm not mistaken, they'll be able to decide how much companies are required to carry in terms of health care, who gets fined, how much they get fined. They can literally, if they choose to do what they did with the 501c3 enforced status, they may do the same thing with the Obamacare and literally drive certain ideologies, certain political groups out of business.
Eric, you've perfectly stated the concerns of the American people. I used to work as a federal tax litigation attorney at the Treasury Department. We only had one client, the IRS, and we had to be extremely careful about this sensitive tax information. But now the IRS has admitted this is the largest expansion of power and authority that they've had in modern times, and they've proved they're incapable of dealing with the power and authority they have today. This is why I believe, Eric, we were all in the doldrums after that last election, but I believe not only as the House repealed Obamacare, now I think the American people are going to demand after the 2014 election that the Senate repeal Obamacare, and I think the president will be in a box. I think he'll be forced to repeal his signature legislation because the people will demand it once they're thrown off their employer's health care insurance, and after millions of people lose jobs and people lose health care. Literally, the decisions of our life and death may very well be in the hands of the IRS. That's a chilling thought.
Boy, you make a very good point. A lot of people are saying, well, if they're doing that on 501c3s, they may do it on Obamacare. Will they also do it as far as making decisions for your health care treatment going down the road? We've talked about death panels. Any concern with that?
Absolutely, because these IPAB boards, the death panel boards, will be the ones deciding how much health care we get, but really it'll be how much health care we don't get. Here's one thing that your viewers should know at Fox. The big reason why this bill was passed was so that people with pre-existing conditions could get health care and health insurance. Well, the door has been slammed shut on people with pre-existing conditions. We ran out of money with less than 1% of the people serviced. Now where are people with pre-existing conditions supposed to go? We're going to be trillions of dollars in wasted money, but even worse, people could lose their lives over the implementation of Obamacare. That's why we have more fuel for the fire, and I firmly believe that one day, Eric, you and I will have a conversation about the miracle that we did repeal Obamacare.
All right, Congressman, very quickly, President Obama this week said that he was going to accept the resignation of the acting director of the IRS. Is that enough? Is that enough accountability? What more do we need? Do we need to see someone behind bars?
Well, with all due respect, that was the president doing damage control 101. This wasn't a big get because Stephen Miller, the IRS commissioner, was planning to leave anyway on June 1st. So this was a very convenient scapegoat for the president. What this president wants to do is make this very bad story go away. It's not going to happen. We're going to hold hearings in Congress, both in the Oversight and in the Ways and Means Committee. We're going to follow the facts. And where the facts take us, that's where we're going to go. But the big question is, what did the White House know? How was the White House connected? Who made this order? It isn't just the IRS. It's all federal agency, freakishly somehow, all managed to make decisions that would enable and help and assist the president's reelection effort. That's what this is about. So we need to get some answers. But more importantly, the American people need to have their confidence restored. We can't have the IRS. We can't have them enforce Obamacare.
Congresswoman, President Obama said he found out about this IRS issue when everyone else found out. He saw it on the news. Quick question: A, do you believe it? And B, if you do believe it, who the heck is running the place?
Well, that's the question, and that's why the best thing the president could do is say, I'm directing everyone in my administration to cooperate with the congressional committees, release all emails, phone call logs, text messages, and be forthright and truthful when you talk about the conversations that you had. Someone ordered this. Again, I worked in the IRS agency. This didn't just happen. This wasn't a low-level rogue employee. Impossible. Didn't happen. This was a political directive. All roads point to the White House. Now we have to establish the facts to make sure that that's true. This is an egregious violation of our Bill of Rights for every single American. And literally, again, the IRS will have life and death decisions in its hands, and they've proved themselves unworthy to have that level of power over the average American's life.
The thought, Michelle, Congresswoman, is scary to me, the fact that they may have so much power, they'll have so much influence going forward, especially over something so important. Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann, thank you very much for joining Cashing In this week.
Always a pleasure.